dancing on the clouds, waiting for your heart check. Got to let the beat get under your skin. I think I'm an angel, I'm gonna break my wings. A melody from heaven spins me round and around.
Hey guys, welcome to Life Success. It's awesome to be back and to take on the role is awesome. And we're going to have a chat about a lot of these life coaching stuff, because obviously we are struggling with quite a number of things in reality. So, life lessons. So the subject is so important. So this is why it was something that came into my mind. Ding! Yep, something like that. So, I wanted to basically talk about life lessons for a reason. I grew up in West Auckland, New Zealand, and of all places, of course, it's not the greatest, but it's well known for outrageous fortune. So if you've ever seen the TV show, it is well known for that. It is very famous. It's been probably the best TV shows I've ever come across, to be honest. It brings back memories of what it was like for me when I was young. So I grew up there, and by the time I was 10 years old, my youngest brother, he was 26 when he passed away. He committed suicide. He gassed himself in his vehicle somewhere at some kind of beach. And it was, I think, a day before my mum's birthday. So that was quite a horrible experience to go through. Something that my family and my mother particularly, has never forgotten. Traumatizing things stick with you for a long, long time. And I can understand that. Totally understand some of you who have struggled with trauma and can't let go of that past issue, and you want to let go, but you don't know how. So surrendering it to the universe is so important to be able to let go. Just accepting the fact that it's happened. You can't change the fact that it's happened. However, I was raised and grew up in Auckland, and, I loved my brother. We were really close, and sadly, he's not here. However, it could have been worse, I guess, but I struggled with depression. I started at a young age, so over 10 years I went through that. And of course, my dad struggled with identifying the body and stuff like that. It's never a pleasant thing to experience. And however, we continued on. I had a reasonably good childhood, even though I got bullied and stuff at school and kids didn't seem to care. So, however, I was still grateful that I had a reasonably okay scenario in my childhood, but most of it made me feel like it was a negative childhood because my brother committed suicide when I was so young. I didn't know the full details of his death until I was 16. And that's what made me bitter, angry, twisted kid, because I didn't know how to deal with that. There was no therapy out there for people in 1995. People didn't talk about suicide back then either, and this is where we really do need to talk about these things for a reason, because there's more and more people trying to take their lives. And I don't want to see my clients or people that I've met go down that road, especially you guys who are listening. I can totally relate to how it feels, because when I was 16, I was very suicidal. I was totally a mess because I didn't know how to grieve. I didn't know how to let it go. I was angry. I was very angry. So I struggled a lot throughout my teenage life, and was in and out of care, and that made it hard. But however, by the time I got to my 20s, I met my first husband, got married, and that was a challenge, and he abused me, and that was awkward. And of course I left the marriage. So overcoming the obstacles, I'm sure you've had many experiences that have altered the way you think and feel about your life. I want to share with you something that happened to me, and it's really significant. And of course, it's one of probably the most biggest challenges I've had to face, and that was that, when I was a child, that was one of them. But also being physically and mentally, emotionally abused by people, and that was hard. That was definitely hard. I was sexually assaulted at a young age as well. At the age of 18, I was raped. And at the age of my 20s, I was sexually assaulted by someone at mental health. And that wasn't a good look for them. And of course, I've had other experiences along the way. And at the age of 30, I came across someone, and I thought I was going to marry them. Everything was all good and stuff. And then he sexually assaulted me. So, and he was basically not jailed. The New Zealand system is corrupted, of course. So I still struggle with coming to terms with it. But there are times where you're going to have these episodes because they're called obstacles. And these obstacles I face all the time. And when I was faced with this challenge, it was quite hard. But I went through life coaching training and went through the process of actually learning how to grieve and let go. And this is where self-love comes into it as well. Loving yourself for who you are, regardless of the situation. And especially when it comes to situation I had with experiences like your family harassing you, treating you like dirt and stuff like that. I don't totally understand that because I've been through it myself where we've had these negative experiences. But although there's been times where I've had fallen into a dark hole and didn't know how to get out of it, and depression is not a pleasant experience. It is challenging. It took me a long time to come back to service and be a positive person and get out of the rut. And I never used to want to get out of bed. I wouldn't have a morning routine or anything like that. And I really struggled with that. So having to go through that was challenging. It could have been much worse. But however, losing one of my oldest brothers who committed suicide when I was 28, that was a life lesson as well. And my father had a stroke at that time, and we nearly lost him. He was at the breaking point of being on life support, and he pulled through. He survived it, but he's now 80. He's going to be 81 soon, and you just don't know these days of when it's ever going to happen. But it's made me feel more prepared emotionally and mentally, knowing that one of them's going to go, somebody's going to go. And it really taught me a valuable lesson when you go through these experiences. And the choice to be grateful for the time you had with these people instead of dwelling on losing the person. It made me realize that life is so fragile and that I needed to appreciate whatever experience I've had with that person. And with Jeremy, I appreciated the times where he's played his guitar around me, and I was very musical. I really enjoyed that, and knowing that I had a close bond with him, close relationship. So that was a vital lesson, I suppose, too. and not to go the same road as he did. However, is something no one can heal your pain but yourself. And through the power of gratitude and acceptance, I was able to move forward. Even though at the age of 28, my oldest brother took his life. He put a gun to his head and blasted his brains out. And that was tough. But I had to support my dad and try and be as calm as possible to cope. I didn't react very well. Like, it didn't hit me until probably a few months later or a few years. I guess it just seemed strange, like really strange. Like I felt awkward. And then it made me feel like, oh, I'm being dragged under a bus again. What's going on? So, but I was grateful that I had the time with him, and I still remember those beautiful things about him instead of dwelling on things, but it can be tough. Sometimes you still remember these negative experiences. But now I say to myself, I trust the process of life to remind me that even the darkest hours, there is still light and possibility. I've learned not to take my family, my friends, or my life for granted. Even though they may say stupid things that really bug me. Especially when they try to manipulate you into something that is not practical for you. You do what's right for you, not for them. And try to live each day in a positive way to make a difference wherever my path takes me. So pursuing my dream was a challenge, and a lot of people didn't believe in me, especially my family. They didn't really believe in my skill in coaching. And after graduating from life coaching, I didn't like being in this position of people thinking, oh, you're not qualified. Yeah, I've got my certification in it. And it really bugged me when they made me feel stink, you know? And so I ended up kind of moving away from these people and not listening to their crap, negative attitude. So I quickly became independent on finding my way through it, and although my parents were there to help me through it, however, I found a way to support myself regardless. There was not many ways in reality, but knowing you have this positive mindset that's going to help you through it is important. You're going to face a lot of rejections in life, and that's the way it goes in reality. But thank goodness I have Louise Hay's book as well, and that's, you know, important. I like a saying, that an affirmation that says, I flow freely and lovingly with life, or life supports me. These affirmations helped me along the way. Fortunately, I always secured enough things around me to help me through it. So it wasn't about what they expected, but however, I found a way to do what's right for me. I have epilepsy as well, and that can be challenging as well, and that takes on a lot of pressure. I am more prone to having them at night, more so than during the day. So I hope this helps you guys, and stay grounded and moving through them, moving on, and a world of opportunities will happen for you. Blessings. Bye for now.
I'm gonna break my wings and let the dew from heaven spin smooth down and around. Yeah, I'm bouncing off the clouds, whisper in your ear. Yeah, I'm bouncing off the